All right. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. We say words here. Let me just make sure everything's set up so, like, I know I'm actually talking to anybody and not just staring into the void, as one is wont to do. Anyway, how goes it? It's been a while. I mean, I know that you guys have heard my voice fairly recently. Because I actually, have done something recently. Doesn't always happen. It's weird. It can get weird when that doesn't happen. But anyway, my friends were bullying me for not being a real gamer today. And I was like, no, that's not true. I game. I go to gamer school. I have played a video game before, and this was the only one that came to my mind. Sorry. I found this girls game website from 15 billion jillion years ago, and now I'm gonna play. Okay, this is basically the premise. This was one of the American Girl games about oh hey, you're in the Revolutionary War. You're in the Civil War. You're a girl who lives in the 1950s and has polio. That's basically what all of them were like. They were fun. They were interesting. I loved them personally. But, it was also all just to sell dolls. To be fair, I bought in really hard. I still have my old dolls from, when I used to collect them. I'm that attached. I even have new ones from, when I was collecting. I was just so attached. I want to try to do modding for them. Let's do a tutorial! Yippee! Uh-oh. We need to fulfill this order. Uh-oh. Also, by the way, I usually put on, some cool ambient lo-fi whatever for, the novelty of it. Because all of us love music. But I have not figured out how to, turn off this website's noise. It's just that loud. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but you know. I have a reputation, and at that moment, the reputation is going to be sullied by the fact that I decided to do a midnight stream of Kirsten's honeybees. I have to hurry. I have to make $10 in a day. I think in the premise of the game, you have to be able to, make $6,000 to help, build a school, because this is the pioneer girl who needs to build, a log cabin for an institution. So that way people can, learn and live. Oh, fuck. I'm losing. I can't lose. I can't lose Kirsten's honeybees. I have a reputation. I'm a gamer. I'm a real gamer, I promise. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Aw, Dolly. I hope we can see you some other time. Sorry. For the record, I have no idea how fun this is going to be for anybody else. I was like, oh, hey, silly gaming stream. I forgot that the game usually has to be more than this. I mean, my friends seem to enjoy me watching it, but I think that's based on, the pure novelty of, oh, wow, what game did you think about? The one where you sell honey as an industrious 8-year-old. You know, to be fair, the American Girl books were like tight. They were insane. There was like a little girl who just like this same story where all the bee stuff happens is also the same one where Kirsten has to like fight a bear. Okay? Well, she doesn't like fight the bear, she just climbs really high up in the air to like avoid the bear with her little brother, Peter. But like, the American Girl books used to be really intense. I mean, I didn't really register it because, you know, you're a baby and you don't really know when things are scary and they're supposed to be, and scary and they're not supposed to be. Like, you know, that's the general vibe. A lot of the American Girl history stuff is, like, used to be fun and scary, but now it's kind of boring. Like, I don't know. Now, this could just be, like, pure nostalgia, but I feel like there's a real big difference between, hey, I'm running away from slavery after watching my parents be sold off, and I live in a family where I'm not always given a lot of attention. And that's really rough. I don't know, the vibes were totally different. Just entirely different energy. I want to emphasize this. The books were, like, insane. Kirsten's best friend dies of cholera in the first chapter of book 1. I can't lose the baby game. I can't lose the baby game. I can't. No, please. The stress. Because now there's like a public reputation for all 2 people watching. I have to worry about that. What if you all think less of me, somehow? I don't know how that would be possible. But I know it could be. At this point in my career as like a human being, I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, oh, okay. I know that I have pride because I know that I have shame. Constantly. Eternally. It's all I really got going for me. I go into school every day, I trip over my own feet. I say something weird, it's just an endless cycle of humiliation and agony. But I do know that I am capable of it, and I think that's the most important part. You have to know that you're capable of the agonies to know that there is joy. Maybe. Unclear. My friends don't seem to suffer such fates, but maybe that's because they lean in more. Perhaps if I were to lean in, my life would be easier, simple. Perhaps I too could have such joys. But who knows? Who truly, truly knows these sort of things? Wow, big questions today. We're just doing our own thing, huh? I don't know, there's no way this can be like something that I legitimately actually stream. I've been thinking about maybe doing some like dramatic readings for like the Magnus Archives or something. I like that series. We might as well get intense with it. The stress of a small business is weighing heavily on Kirsten. She can only walk so fast, and there's only so many like seeds to plant, but the agony fills her nonetheless. The work never ends. She just simply has to commit. If she does not, what will be left of her farm? What will be left of Pa and Ma? The winter comes and it's cold. What will they do when they run out of things to burn in the house? At first they collect enough firewood, but when is there ever truly enough firewood? Is there such thing as like enough firewood? I can't even imagine. After you burn all that, you burn the furniture. You burn the planes. You throw everything in you can imagine. Just in the hopes of staying the slightest bit warm. For the sake of your sorrows. I don't know what we're doing here. I guess we'll keep going until I lose? But what are the chances that I am going to lose Kirsten's honeybees? I really thought there'd be more amusement to this. I was really just throwing it on you guys to like handle this party, huh? That's on me. I figured out that the most efficient system for doing this is that instead of planting each individual flower equally, you get all the flowers put together in like one at a time. It's very stressful to watch the orders flicker away. But like, that's just kind of what you have to do. That's what you have to do when you're a small business owner like myself. I understand the ways of all this. But that's strategy. Oh, OBS almost disconnected. It would be terrible if that happened. I mean, considering we're all having such a great time with Kirsten's honeybees. The stream that needed to happen. That had to be done tonight. So, how have you guys been? You doing good? You having a nice day? Enjoying relaxing with Kirsten's honeybees? I don't know, I loved all the stupid little American Girl games that used to be on the site. I used to spend a lot of time there. It's just fun. To be fair, I think this was fun before I realized that you can go, like, past level 3. I never got that far. I don't think I was a very patient or business-savvy child. And now look at me. Oh right, orders. I actually have to fulfill the orders. I forgot about the orders. Now watch it. Oh no. Oh no. I just realized that I never fulfilled any of the elements. So, like I said, how are you guys doing? You doing good? You all stopped by to watch Kirsten's honeybees? Cool, cool. I'm glad you're all here, don't not get me wrong, but I'm also kind of questioning why. I really thought this would bring appeal on its own, but I'm starting to realize that this was amusing only to me, and now I'm really self-conscious about it, as one is wont to be. I was really relying on somebody being excited about this, and nobody else is bringing the energy that I can carry. And I worry. As I am wont to do. I'm a real gamer yet. You can tell. I bet some of the cottagecore girlies would really like this one. I don't know, I think there's some enthusiasm to be had. Are there really any cottagecore games? I feel like that's an untapped market. I know that goes against the it's kind of like the antithesis of the whole aesthetic is being online in the brutalist concrete world we survive in, but like, I mean, you know, might as well. I mean, I guess Stardew Valley, but like, are there really any others? I can't really think of any. There should be, though. I think they tried to bring back Kirsten a while ago for like the whole American Girl 25th anniversary, 30th anniversary with like, oh, hey, we're gonna reclaim this, settlers gonna settle, and then everybody was like, no, you can't just say that. No one was happy about that. But they did it. I don't know, I think American Girl is just vastly fascinating because it's such a weird niche. I mean, to be fair, if you can deconstruct anything, it gets weird. Like doll brands. Oh, children of famous monsters. Oh, children of characters that are color coordinated. Gambling dolls. Dolls that you gamble for. Larger versions of the dolls that you'd usually gamble for, but now they're teens. Girls who dress nice. I'm describing so many different fashion brands right now. The American Girl's whole idea was like, okay, so you know the historical era. How would you like to make a girl wear a crinoline and corsets? Would you like to have a bustle? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love watching those historical fashion videos, but I feel like that's like a niche phenomenon. Not enough to like build a whole brand around, you know? And God, don't get me started about like how eccentric and weird it is. Like for their 15th anniversary, like I think I was like 12 for it or something, but like they had a cruise. Like 25th anniversary, they had a cruise that you could just, that like you were expected to like take your children on. Like it was a parent and kid thing, and it's like insane. It was just, I guess it was really just that bougie, huh? That might have been a personal problem more than anything, I think. But yeah. I don't know, even beyond that, it's kind of interesting as a novelty for like dolls that are designed after like 8-year-olds. Like Barbie was the aspirational woman's doll, and then there was like that whole baby doll thing where it's just like, oh, practice being mom. You know what you're gonna spend your life as, so you know, practice. But the whole idea with American Girl is like, hey, actually, it's cool to be 9. Hot take. Cool to be 9 years old. And you know what? I guess. I mean, I remember 3rd grade being pretty alright. I mean, how do you remember your 3rd grade? No. Oh wait, no, I did good. This is fine. Oh man, level 5! I'm gonna get large bee scap. Which means I can produce twice the amount of honey as a small scap. Wow. And my goal is $55. The stakes have never been higher. Hello. Yeah, sorry, this is what we're doing tonight, I don't know. You didn't exactly get any of the lore, but like, my friends were like, oh, hey, you game, right? You play a video game. You have something you can do. Because to be fair, the last time I tried to play games with anyone, they just kind of destroyed me in Team Fortress 2, because most of the time, I am just there for games for, like, story purposes. I am not there to, like, actually play. I don't have time. I don't know why I'm making time now for Kirsten's honey farm when I could be, like... Wow. Actually, I think you're probably right about this. Ahead of its time, and then behind its time. You gotta appreciate that. Is it innovation? Is it degradation? I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there was one time where I streamed and someone paid me money to stop playing games because I was really bad at it. The video isn't up anymore because, you know, copyright has never been kind to me whenever I stream, but someone paid me like $15 to stop. I mean, I don't know. What does a pioneer girl have to think about? Like, I don't know. Her life has been beset with nothing but tragedy. She's leaving Sweden. She's an immigrant in America. And, like, this is the book where she has to fight a bear. Her best friend dies of cholera in the first chapter. Like, I don't know. Her life is just very rough. They do not pull punches with Kirsten. Like, you hop forward, like, to the 1850s, and then you get to, like... Oh, yeah, funny story. The whole honeybee thing, this is some advanced American Girl lore, but the whole honeybee thing came from Kirsten Saves the Day, which was, like, this weird sort of, like, format for all the books, where you first had, like, meet the character learns a lesson, which was usually, like, a school story about them surviving the odds or learning something terrible. The surprise books were just basically about a holiday celebration. There was, like, then there was, like, the birthday book. Then there was Saves the Day, which was basically, like, any story that, like, required you to, like, actually worry for the character's life and safety. Like, the Victorian girl, who, like, that was basically the book series for the main historical American Girl dolls. Like, for instance, the Victorian girl goes on a boat, and sails out to an island with, like, some twin cousins of hers, and then they have to, like, sail back during a storm, and it's like, oh no, we're going to die. It's scary. Somebody's already gotten a head injury, and we're going to die. And I don't remember any details of it beyond, like, one of them being like, oh man, am I gonna die just like my parents did? And, like, that's a terrifying thought to have when you're, like, 9. No, none of them are true stories, but they have, like, some historical basis in some degree. Like, they're just historical fiction. That's basically it. But made to appeal to young girls, I guess. Kirsten's whole thing was that, because she was trying to get, like, honey, so that way her family could, like, get supplies for, like, the oncoming winter, and, I don't know, barn raising, maybe? There's a barn raising in there somewhere, I know it. But, like, she has to, how you say, fight a bear! And by fight a bear, I mean she climbs a tall tree with her brother Peter and has to wait for her dad to, like, come and help her with the bear because she is 9. Yes. Like, oh my god, you want to get into it? You want to get into the American Girl deep lore? Because I can, and I will. Also, I have to mention that another one of the character Saves the Day books was, Kit from the 1930s goes to prison. She goes to prison because she hops on a train. I don't know, I never got that far in the game. I'm on level 7. I've never made it this far. but like, you know. Okay, basically there was like the concept of American Girl, you understand, right? Historical girls in various eras. There's a way to teach kids about history in a way that's entertaining and relates back to them, because like, maybe you couldn't relate to like having to fight in a war, but like, you could relate to like, helping out in your family's store, or being worried about the economic climate at the age of 9, if you lived in this era. It just add on like that extra flavor of like, hey, they're gonna send your best friend on the orphan train. Wait, which character should I start out with? Should I just stick with Kirsten's whole deal, or like, should I jump to anybody else? Because there's like a lot. A lot of it's really tame nowadays, and that's honestly kind of a shame. Like, I think the only novel thing they've done with any of the recent characters is that, like, oh, Mary Ellen has polio. Oh, this one had to watch the Challenger blow up. And like, yeah, sure, but that didn't happen to them. They saw it, but like, they weren't there. They didn't put, like, fucking, Mackenzie on the Challenger. But, you know. But anyway, yeah. American Girl's whole thing was that it had deep lore for a while, before they rebooted it to make it safer for children, and less scary for the parents. But yeah, I used to be crazy about it, so I still have deep cut lore. Basically, Kirsten's whole deal, because she's the game we're playing as, is that she is a Swedish immigrant coming to America. Her story starts with her on a boat. Her best friend dies of cholera on said boat, and there's like this illustration you can see of them like carrying out her friend's body off the boat, because she can't be there anymore. She's in a coffin and everything, or like wrapped up, because they don't have that yet. Then she gets lost in her new American city and doesn't know the language. And it's scary for her because she's 9 and lost. But she meets like another immigrant, like a Polish one, who helps her find her parents again. And that's all for book 1. I don't know. I never really got into Kirsten. Like I said, the fighting the bear one was really entertaining. So that's the one that I mostly stuck with. But again, mostly I just remember that she fought a bear. Or was at least in danger of being mauled by a bear. I think a lot of the other Kirsten books were a little bit, like, more tame, because it's like, oh, barn raising, quilting bee. I mean, if you want to get intense, just look at Addie. Addie was the one who came out, like, 10 years after Kirsten, chronologically, in the lore. Where she was, like, and her whole thing was that she was escaping slavery. She watched her parents be sold. She had to go learn how to be literate. She might have been a little gay, but we don't talk about it because it's hard. Actually, I don't know what happened for Addie Saves the Day either. I think it was just kind of like the Emancipation Proclamation happened, and you know what? Good for her. But yeah, a lot of the books were just like really intense, and I don't know, I think that's like an important part of it. Like, the thing is that history is scary, and also kids gravitate to things that they are intrinsically not supposed to read, you know? Like, if you make it scary, that's how you get kids into history. Part of it is about being relatable, but it's also kind of being like, hey, this character has to win tug of war? I don't remember. Molly was lame. Look, Molly was my favorite when I was like 8, but Molly was so lame. Her whole thing was like, oh, I hate eating turnips, but I have to because of the war rations. I hate the fact that this British girl who lives with me because her house was bombed in England is really sad all the time. It's kind of annoying for me. And oh, my friends and I are separated for Capture the Flag, so I guess we're just not gonna have that much fun. Like, that was Molly's whole thing. Molly was actually really mild. Outside of having, like, a dad who fought in, like, the war. That was it. She just kind of wanted to stand out. I feel like when you go earlier into the timeline for like the dolls, it just gets more intense. It really depends on like production order in real life and like how crazy they're willing to get with it. Actually, I think it'd be fun to do like an intensity tier list for all the American Girl dolls. Because that shit got crazy. No, I have... Okay. That isn't a bad amount of orders. Kid was also one I was really into. Oh. Wow! She was able to buy 49 books for her school! I don't know how long I thought this game was gonna last. I thought it let you go on forever. I mean, I guess there's some other Flash games if you want to do that. Or maybe I can, like, close the window and find an American Girl tier list. Or something. Because like I said, that shit got crazy. I am not kidding. Maybe I have like one of the old blank screens. Maybe I'll just like pop out the window for a second so I can set up with a new screen for American Girl tier lists. But basically, like, Kit's whole thing was that she lived during the Great Depression. Like, I think the whole goal of it was like, I thought it would go on for longer. I thought it was gonna be longer. That's why I thought I could stream it. I don't know. Oh, I never brought up why Addie was gay. Okay, in the American Girl books, they have this thing where they, like, jump the broom with one of her best friends, Sarah. But the thing is, it's like, that was a way that slaves used to be able to get married. Like, because they weren't able to get married in an official church, they'd jump the broom to indicate that they would be wed. And Addie did that with her best friend. So, perhaps there is something there. Who knows? That's not really, like, part of it. But, like, it's... Isn't it? I once found my dad once found a Pokemon game on an airplane for the DS. I think it was like Pokemon Ranger, and he gave it to me. So I guess I always have an attachment to Plusle from the I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but like attachment is there. But I guess I can just do like the American Girl doll tier list. Because, like, yeah, sure, let's beef about this. Let's do it. The window is not back. Oh, God. Oh, no, it is. Maybe? There we go. Do you guys want music or nah? Plusle is cute. I'll stick with that. I guess this could be fun. And then I can do lore. Okay, this is Addie. I'm just gonna rank down stories because those are the ones I know the most about. These are all like the Be Forever relaunch though, where they're like, oh, hey, we're going to like make everything less insane. There's like a fan base. There are other people who have nostalgia. I'm just gonna rank it based on stories. You can't go above Addie. Like, she literally watched her father and brother get sold into slavery. There's, like, a vivid description in the books where they, like, get up for, like, the slave owner in the first chapter gets mad at her for missing bugs on a leaf. and he makes her eat the bugs, and it's so descriptive about, like, how terrible it is. Like, honestly, it's a lot. And I think that's a valuable experience for children. How else are you going to learn about slavery if they don't tell you? Thanks, Pleasant Rowland. You're a real one. Okay, this is one of the Girl of the Years. Basically, they did this, like, Girl of the Year thing where it's just like, hey, you know, someday these eras are going to be historical too, and that's pretty crazy. Sorry. That's, like, part of it. That's, like, the whole thing. The whole thing was like, hey, let's teach children about history in a way that girls will understand it. Because a lot of history is just war. And war is boring when you're 9 and would rather be playing with your My Little Ponies. But, you know, reading about how another little girl, like, learned to read at the age of 9 after escaping a brutal life of slavery, and then being able to meet her father at the age of 9, and then being able to meet her father in a free world is pretty cool. Oh, by the way, most of her family gets free, but her grandfather dies. Sorry, spoilers. But don't worry, they comfort her by saying, it's okay, he died a free soul. That's in Changes for Addie. I forgot to mention it, but there's like a whole other book after this Saves the Day, which is Changes, which is basically to build a conclusion. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Anyway, this is one of the historical, like, the contemporary ones. I don't keep up with these. I keep up with them in, like, the very detached way where me and my mom would, like, bitch about it, being like, oh, look at this one. Ugh. Anyway, her whole thing was that, like, oh, I need to get off social media and help my aunt plan her wedding at my farm. Boring. Okay, Caroline was one of the newer ones. Her whole thing was that she was in the War of 1812. I never really liked her because she broke the 4 naming scheme for, like, all the eras. Like, every doll was, like, 1764, 1854, 1864. But, like, oh no, she's special. She has to be 1812. She's so unique. I resented it. But she's pretty cool because, they made a boat for her. She got a boat. I mean, how many other times do you get to make a whole schooner for a doll? Pretty cool. Personally, I feel like they're leaning too much into, like, that Barbie era. I can't stop now. I have, like, 20 years of special interest built up from this. Okay, Cecile. Cecile was supposed to kind of contrast Addie. She came, like, actually 10 years before her in the timeline, but released after Addie. Her whole thing was that she lived in Louisiana during yellow fever. But her whole thing was, like, that she sung, but she's very confident about it. And then she has a friend named Marie Grace who was shy, but could play an instrument. And it's just like, whoa, we could start a band or something. And yeah, that was the whole thing, yellow fever. I don't know, she was alright. I think she's pretty. But, like, I think it was, like, a little bit too late for me to be, like, catching up on the lore. This was, like, close to the Be Forever rebranding, so, like, I don't know. Like, okay, she's getting ranked up, but only for cuteness points. Oh, Krissa. Krissa's interesting. She was, like, the 2009 Girl of the Year. Her whole thing was that she was, like, they were going to be, like, doing a stop bullying thing. they like to do contemporary themes for the dolls. So, like, you know, this one was like social media. Don't be on it. Well, her theme was don't bully people, because she was bullied severely. What makes her really an interesting novelty is that she came with like 2 best friend dolls. They used to do this thing called Best Friends, where like there'd be like a doll associated with the brand that was also like a supporting character in the books and meant something to the protagonist. Like, this was Marie Grace. We're just going to throw her up there with Cecile because, you know, canon lore. They belong together. Branded together. Each other's best friends. Lesbians, even. We're going to go with that one. But Chris's thing was that she was, like, harassed a lot. And she had 2 best friends. One who was bullied for being... Well, we'll get there. We will get there. This is Courtney. She's the new released 80s doll who watched the Challenger explode. Okay, the thing about the new line for, like, the historical dolls is that, like, unlike the other dolls that used to get, like, 6 books to be like, oh, this is school, this is holidays, this is birthdays, this is what they were like back then. They only get 3 books, so they're trying to wedge in, like, women's lib, HIV, Challenger explosion, video games, women in STEM, all into, like, this one era. And I think a lot of adults already were just having the existential crisis of, you know, the time at which the dolls were released are now considered a historical era to be marketed to. I also just kind of don't like the fact that she's, like, the one with the most corporate sponsorships. Like, if you look up all her product designs, it's all just like, oh, hey, we got the licenses for Care Bears, in case you were wondering. And, oh, she has a little form of one of the old historical dolls. Isn't that cute? Which I guess, but also ruins the meta-narrative, but whatever. I don't know. It feels like it's really themed around that, like, 80s Stranger Things era. Where it's, like, not the real 80s, but it's, like, the idea of the 80s that's always in pop culture. And, like, the whole point of this was to, like, learn about, like, the real history on some level. I don't know. I'm gonna put her in mad just because I don't care about her. I'm sorry. It's too nostalgic. Like, oh, Elizabeth. This was the best friend for Felicity. Her whole thing is that her family was a loyalist while she was the, Felicity was a revolutionary. It's just kind of like, wow, can we, across the political divide, really be friends? And it's like, sure, because we're 8. I don't know, she just looks very pretty princess. It's boring. Eh. Cool ringlets, though. Actually, I'm gonna move her towards meh. I wanted to rank her here originally, but, like, it doesn't make sense. She's getting moved up. Right, Emily. Emily was the one I mentioned for, like, Molly. Her whole thing is that she is British and brutally traumatized by the horrors of war, being shipped to America in order to, like, weather out the war while her parents and family and others might be dead. And Molly, she's introduced in Molly's birthday book, and it's really funny because Molly's just a massive bitch throughout the whole thing. Where it's kind of like, well, you're ruining my birthday. You're supposed to be like the cool kind of British in the movies. In the movies. You know, the cool kind of British from the movies where you're like posh and say chip chip perio. I don't know. I remember I really wanted her as a kid, but I think that's just because I also had Molly, and that's basically it. Yeah, sorry about that. That's just the reality of American Girl, baby. I don't know. Like, she has, like, more story stuff going on, but she's only there for, like, one book and one short story. And it's called very, like, I don't know. One of them is called Very Funny Character, and it'd be really, really funny if it was, like, very funny, Emily. That sort of thing. Okay, this is one of the newer characters. I don't know enough about her to, like, really rank her properly. But they're part of, like, the new initiation to be, like, historical characters, but contemporary. Where it's like, hey, all I know about her is that she's supposed to be mixed race. But I think it's really 50-50. Like, I've heard that some parents would, like, use reading the books as an incentive for, like, to, like, be interested in the dolls. And vice versa. But to be honest, I just saved a lot of money and was really annoying about it. And a bunch of my cousins gave me a bunch of their old stuff, so that's how I cruised. I think it's a good initiative, but I can't really say anything about her. Emily's also creeping towards me because these are just characters I don't care about. Well, these have, like, interesting stuff going on, but I'm just not that personally invested. There's a difference. Oh, Felicity. God, I wish you guys could know how horrible this dress is. It's so fucking ugly. I think they only re-released her because of the Hamilton craze, but then they missed that by like 3 years, so now she's just floating in perpetuity. Felicity is interesting because she's like one of the classic characters, which means she got like an actual story where it's like, hey, can I really be friends across the political divide? And also, I want to ride horses. That was Felicity's other big thing. It was politics and horses. She fell in love with a horse named Penny that she was like able to charm, and she rode it at one point. I was never really into Felicity, I'm sorry. I just wasn't a horse girl. But, okay, here's the big thing that we have to talk about with Felicity. The elephant in the room. You know how Addie exists? Yeah, this is gonna be a fun conversation. Felicity's family is hinted to have owned slaves. Like, I'm gonna, like, we need to, like, bust this case wide open. I'm gonna literally open a different tab. Like, there's like a woman who lives in the background who's, like, her grandmother's, her, like, grandparents, technically, but, like, she's still there. I need to look it up. I'm sorry. I need you guys to see this. I know, like, one of the books have her on the cover. Like, I don't know why I made the display. There's no mystique here. Like, I looked it up just now, and it's just kind of like, hey. Her name is Rose, which I picked up fast on. But, yeah, Felicity's family owns slaves, which kind of goes against the whole thing of, like, Addie trying to be free of slavery. And, like, hey, it's, like, accurate for the era, but, like, maybe the optics of that are kind of weird now. And it's also weirder now because it's the the thing is, I think they were only able to get away with this because it was the 1980s, and they said that technically it wasn't Felicity's family that owned the slaves. It was her grandparents who just happened to live with them. You see? Buy our toys. like, where do I put her from here? Because on the other hand, she lives in that good legacy of, like, better storytelling, but at the same time, I don't think I can... Yeah, that works. That's perfect. Okay, next. This is Gabriella. She's from the more recent line. There's, like, an interesting optics game going on with her, because she was supposed to be the Girl of the Year for 2017. Yep, it was a mess. Okay, there's also something fun, little bit hinky going on here, because this is Gabriella, who was supposed to be the Girl of the Year for 2017, and, like, her whole thing was that, like, oh, she's a dancer. We have never had a dancer doll before. What a novelty. But this was also the year where they decided to release 3 other Girl of the Years to overtake her, including Tenny Grant, their Taylor Swift knockoff that got way more attention in the media. Z Yang, the photographer, who didn't do much either. And the first time they released a boy doll, where the optics game fell apart on that one because they made a very specific face mold for one of the other dolls that wasn't supposed to be used for him. Okay, we're just going to flash forward to that character because it'll make more sense. This is Kaya. She's a Native American of the Nez Perce tribe. Her whole thing is, like, they gave her a whole other face mold because it's considered aggressive in the Nez Perce tribe of that era to bare teeth. So they made a whole other face mold for her, and now it's kind of considered a little culturally insensitive to appropriate the face that you made for a Native American character for your one boy doll. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of funny to just have this one guy in here just... What's he doing here? Who invited my man Blood, you know? What's he here for? I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm gonna just throw them all in here. Actually, she's going into here because I just hate her whole deal. Like, this is the neutral ranking, but this just sucks. Like I said, her only thing is it's just being a Taylor Swift knockoff. I think this was actually the last doll that I got for real. And it was 2015, which is, like, a little bit too long to be getting dolls. But I think this is around the time where they were, like, getting tired of the whole American aesthetic. Okay, good point. He is the only boy doll. Back in the old days, he'd just take Kit, though, and just pretend that she was a boy with longer hair than average. Okay. Should he get his own tier for being boy? Yeah, sure. He's winning. He's winning so hard. Oh, wait. Now that I can do this, I can actually show you the scary parts of Addie's story. Wow. I can show you Kirsten fighting a bear. Wow, I forgot. Sorry. Okay, first of all, this is such an ugly dress, right? It's so fucking ugly. So ugly. You would not believe it. Kirsten fighting bear. I should have typed that in faster. Yeah, I only read this one because it was advertised like this specifically. Terrifying. That's enough of a reason to buy the book, right? You gotta know what's going on. And of course they made a marketable bear plushie. You know, in case you want to remember the time you were almost mauled. I swear they carry out her body. I'm not lying about this. Oh boy, let's see Marta. Ailing at the bedside. Being carried away. I wasn't joking. The colored pencil illustrations were really pretty, though. Oh god. We almost hit the wiki. Like, I have something we could get with this faster. This is her trying to save her father from getting whipped. This is her... Oh yeah, I forgot about this part in the first book. While they're running away from slavery, her mother almost drowns while trying to cross a busy river. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Stuff happens. I was not kidding when I said it was intense. Kid, jail. I mentioned this earlier. One of them goes to jail. This is not specific enough. Oh yeah, I forgot in the Kid Saves the Day one, she almost gets hit by a train. This is how they advertise it. She has to kneel down by the railroad tracks to prevent dying from a train. And this is the illustration when she's about to get hauled off to jail. Because she decided to ride the rails with a hobo and never realized that riding the rails with a hobo was kind of illegal, actually. Whoopsie. And now they're going to go take her to a separate prison because they realize that she's a girl. And this is the one I was talking about with Samantha, where, like... Oh yeah, I forgot. It wasn't one of the kids. It was just, like, this old man. Maybe she's related to the family. I don't know, but he's visibly wounded, and they're having to sail this boat into stormy waters, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. This was a weird tangent. My point is that they used to be, like, crazy as hell. Anyway, Grace is meh. Her whole story is that she's in Paris. That's it. She's an American girl in Paris. What a novelty. Oh yeah, she goes to jail because she's a hobo. She rides the rail with a hobo named Will. And riding the rails is really illegal because they're going to criminalize being poor, even in the era where everybody is poor. That's social commentary, baby. Okay, now we're going to get to Gwen. Gwen was with Chris on the 2009 bullying line. You know. The place where you want her to be. Her whole thing was that she was bullied for being poor. And none of the proceeds that came from selling her doll went to any, like, anti-homeless foundations or even any anti-bullying foundations. And people thought this was really hypocritical for a doll brand that sells $100 dolls to, like, how you say, market being poor. Sell the story of a girl being poor to other people. Like, I don't know, there was just, like, a lot going on. I don't remember ever being, like, particularly interested in her. I remember there was, like, this image I saw when I was 9 that made me really, like, I was 7 when I saw this, where people were complaining about it, and I was like, wait, don't blame the doll. It's not her fault, because I didn't understand politics yet. where it was like, where, I don't know, the idea of like an American Girl doll being homeless was like, oh, like a controversial thing, and it did nothing with it, so it was kind of controversial. This is a nostalgic image for me. This was biting social commentary in my day when I was, say, 7. Such as it were. Insensitive image, insensitive idea. Did nothing with it. Isabella is a dancer. Isabella is from 2014. She dances. She's just boring. She doesn't do anything wrong, but she doesn't do anything right either. Ivy Ling was marketed with Julie as like a 1970s best friend doll. Her whole thing was being a second generation Chinese American immigrant who did gymnastics and was learning how to bind the cultures together. Such as it were. Like, I don't know, she's cool, but it's like, I think it would have been cooler if her side of the story was focused on more than Julie, whose whole story is that her parents are getting divorced, and, she's on the boys' basketball team. Like, those were, like, the two big ones. That was Julie's whole story. Julie was very uninteresting. But parents loved her because she was, like, from their era, the 1970s. I'm gonna put not bad, but not the best, because I think there could be more done with her. I know, okay, Jess, I know that I said that, like, her, like, Grace's whole thing was that, like, oh, she's an American in Paris. But Jess's whole thing was being the American Girl doll in Belize. Her whole thing was that she just kind of got to travel around in 2006. I don't know anything about her story. She was just out there in the world, and it was, like, kind of cool. And I mean, she had a kayak, which is, like, pretty cool. She's got stuff going on. She's nuanced. Josephina was also one that I didn't really know a lot about. I don't know, I didn't care for her story. Her whole thing was that she lived in New Mexico in 1824 and was dealing with the loss of her mother on a farm. And it's, like, boring, but, like, to be fair, you are, like, kind of being the, like, connecting factor between Kirsten, best friend, dying, getting lost in the unknown cities, having to, like, store firewood for the winter, Larson, and Revolutionary War Felicity, and Kaya. And there's a lot of stuff going on there, so, like, she's, like, boring to me, but, like, it's not her fault. You need someone there to be, like, the palate cleanser. You need someone there to, like, not be a hot mess. You need someone there to not die. And isn't that enough? She's doing enough. Okay, she's one of the more recent ones. All I know about her is that she has a hearing aid, and she surfs, and that's pretty cool. I guess. Like, I don't know. Points for the disability representation in dolls. American Girl's actually been pretty good about that, where, like, they offer hearing aid and ball options for dolls, so if you want, like, a doll with You know what? The phrase adult cancer is not going to sit well. I'm sorry, everybody. That's on me. That's on me. Julie. Again, the boring one. She was in a relatively stable era of the 1970s where nothing really happened. I think she's just going to go with, like, wherever I put Court. No, not Courtney. She's going here. Her outfit sucks, though. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to talk about this again, but costuming. She used to look like this, which is, like, of the era. It's, like, kind of cheesy, but, like, you know, it's good. But they recently replaced it with, like, this, and it's like, okay, just tell me that you only heard about the 70s from, like, media. This doesn't even look like it was designed by people who lived in the 70s. And that's, oh my god. And that's just, like, not that hard. And everything is so ugly. Like, she had, like, a lot of weird outfits for, like, the earlier 1970s stuff. But that's what worked about it. It wasn't supposed to be, like, kitsch. It wasn't supposed to be digestible. It was supposed to be of the time. And that's what you're supposed to represent. That's all I'm asking for. Kaylee is from 2003. She likes... They had, like, an era where they did the Girl of the Year for 2001 and then 2003. And, skip 2002 entirely. But 2003, her whole thing was that she did tide pools and was about ocean conservation, which was an important issue. Is an important issue. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but, like, every picture of Kaylee that you've ever find online makes it look like has had all the melanin sucked out of her face. Is that the right word for that? Like, I don't know. She always looks yellowed and sad. There's never been, like, a good image of Kaylee. It's always just in the dark. A little bit yellow. And beyond that, she's just kind of like a boring blonde. I mean, she has brown eyes. Love a brown eye. But, like, I mean, I guess I think being friends with Addie would be, like, pretty cool. Oh, by the way, Kaylee's, like, meh, like, creeping towards meh because ocean conservation is important. But she's kind of boring. Kanani was from 2011. Everybody lost their shit over her because she was, like, really pretty. Her whole thing was that she was an islander who helped, like, her family's store. I had the book for her. This was just the first time I didn't really feel like reading the book. Good job, Kanani. I think her whole story is that her cousin from the mainland comes to the island and she has to show, like, the Ohana spirit about it. But they don't really do anything with it. Like, arguably, Lilo and Stitch's deleted scenes have more commentary about, like, what it's like to be a Pacific Islander in a modern day. At least, she's going to hi I love you because she's very pretty, but that's all she has. I'm sorry. Oh, Kaya. 1764. Released in 2002 after 5 years of intensive research. Because the whole thing is that they didn't want to make her offensive. That's most of Kaya's thing. But actually, Kaya's, like, really interesting. Like, the thing is that in the first book, it establishes that she does something that basically devastates her tribe. And, like, she gets, like, brutally punished for it. Like, I don't know. I just have, like, vivid visions of her being beaten with a stick. Like, they have, like, this whole section of the book where she gets punished deeply for her crimes. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, why was this so easy to find? All the kids have to get beaten. But, like, she does something that devastates the crime, and their whole story is, like, a big redemption arc. Like, the only reason I remember that, specifically that Kaya's hero, is about her meeting, like, someone that she really admires, obviously. But her whole thing is that she doesn't want the person who her hero is to find out that she did this horrible thing to begin with. And, like, that's part of it. That's, like, a whole part of it. I'm not explaining it well. I don't know. Maybe I should actually read the Kaya book. Why not? It's not too late. Yeah. Fire stuff happens for Kaya, too. I don't remember. I'm gonna look on the wiki real fast. But another interesting thing about Kaya was that she had, like, a blind sister, Speaking Rain. That's what I remember about her. Okay, she lives prior to the settlement of North America. In Meet Kaya, her rash action, like, they don't actually say what she did here? Huh. Oh. Okay, funny story. The way the wiki puts it is, Kaya many times acts before she thinks, getting her in trouble many times through the series. In Meet Kaya, her rash actions get her in trouble, earning a switch for all the children from Whip Woman and the disparaging nickname Magpie, which she tries to get rid of. Later, her rash actions get her and Speaking Rain kidnapped by another tribe. But don't worry, she gets ready. She gets saved. She has her redemption arc, where she is rewarded with the name of her heroine, Swan Circling, and she gets to use it when she's ready. Yippee! Oh, the creation of her had an 8-member advisory board, and she had, like... Yeah, I was right. She did take 5 years to develop, because I had lore. Like, they did, like, a lot of research. And to be fair, it feels like it's kind of strange. Like, I don't know, it's a little... Things are interesting here. I don't know what to say. Oh, I should do an American Girl read along. I mean, the books are like a 3rd grade reading level. We should all be able to handle it. It should be a good time. They can't be that long to get through. But anyway, Kaya is going to, like, is she the best unequaled? Like, I think I'm gonna put her, like, in the top tier of, like, hi, I love you, because, like, there's stuff going on there. It gets intense. Kira Clark goes to Australia. She's one of the contemporary ones. I think she was for, like, the Australian bushfires, like, the year after that. Which is why she's just kind of like a blonde generic girl. I don't know. I think you've noticed this, but American Girl just has, like, a fuck ton of blondes. It's easy. Nobody gets upset with a blonde, I guess. They're just kind of boring. I don't really care. It was more of just an excuse to market a bunch of, like, stuffed animals than anything. Oh, not Kira Clark. Kira Bailey. My bad. There's a different one named Leah Clark. How could I have made that mistake? Oh no. Such is life. They did make that one koala look unbearably cute. But that's not what the point of this is. Our girl Kirsten! We've talked about her a lot. The bees, the bears, the family members dying, the trauma of being a little settler girl in the prairie. Little settler girl in the prairie is that way we don't get sued by Laura Ingalls Wilder. But come on, she's a goat. Kit's whole thing growing up in the Great Depression. First book, she has to deal with her family taking rent from strangers with a very sickly young boy named Sterling. That doesn't really matter. Book 2, she finds out that her father is selling apples on the side of the road because he lost his job and has never told her. That's just the devastating part of Kirsten. I'm sorry. I think it's just because she's cropped more than anybody else, so it's more haunting. Get some contacts for her. Third book, she has to worry about her family losing her house. Fourth book, she's ashamed of the fact that she's poor, despite the fact that everybody's poor. 5, she almost goes to jail. I don't know. I liked her. I think she has, interesting stuff going on. I feel like it treads too close to that whole era of, Like I said, the whole point of this was supposed to be for the kids to learn. Lainey was one where I was, at the exact right age to get into her, but honestly, beyond the biases I have and the fact that she, walks a rabbit on a leash at one point, all her thing is her whole thing is learning that, hey, I can help even if I'm only in my own backyard. Because her whole friend is off saving orangutans in the rainforest, and she just has these stupid monarch butterflies. But look, this totally looks like it would be a poster in for a whimsical, quirky girl movie in the 2010s. Is that not enough of a reason to be nostalgic? I don't know, I think I actually had a doll of her, but when I moved, I lost her, and I can't find her anywhere, and I miss her. We were buddies, we hung out. I got 2 of these hammocks because my families did not coordinate birthday presents, and you know what? I was happy with it, because I had 2 dolls. So they could both use the hammocks! It was perfect. I can't deign to rank her because she is my bestie. We're buddies. I can't do that to her. Okay, Leah Clark, I actually have no memory of. I think I just blanked out on her so hard because I did not care. Oh, she was just another rainforest one. She went to Brazil. That's just going to Belize, but 20 years afterwards? I don't know. And she also likes photography and butterflies. Meh. Okay, Lindsay was fucking cool. Lindsay's whole thing was that she just lived in New York and was Jewish. And that was it, because she was the first one. So, the standards had never been lower. Her collection is that she has a scooter. She has a little scooter and, a funny little dog. And the whole novelty at the time with these girls were supposed to be, they were, older than the usual American Girl line. So instead of being 8 or 9, they were, 10. Novelty. I should not put her so high on the list because of how generic and boring she is, but fuck it. She's in New York, she's Jewish, her hair is short. They don't usually do short-haired dolls. That's a novelty. This one, oh, there's an interesting, like, she's, like, I mean, to be fair, I did slam these other ones on the list for being like, oh, hey, you have to get off social media. And meanwhile, she's just out here with, like, I have a fucking wiener dog. And that's worth it to me. Alright. I think her name is Luna, or Luana. Controversy with her. Controversy with her. There's a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit. That was not her name. That was not her name. Luciana. I'm showing, look, she came out later. That's my only excuse. But funny story, her whole thing was that they teamed up with, like, a NASA thing to make a doll-aspiring astronaut. Which, by the way, is pretty cool because that means you have, like, a doll-sized space station and a doll-sized spacesuit, which is pretty cool. But there was a lawsuit because the doll that they specifically... Oh, shit. That was not meant to happen. They designed her off of, like, a pre-existing astronaut who was named Lucianne with, like, highlights. And they sued. That astronomer sued. I mean, I guess she doesn't own purple highlights or the name, but yeah. That's an interesting controversy. I forgot to mention that, like, the big novelty with, like, the Girl of the Year dolls usually is that they get, like, this big, stupid play set that you, like, will never have any place to put. But, like, it's fucking cool, isn't it? Like, yeah, you'll have nowhere to place this big space module when your kid is, like, out of her space phase. But it's fucking cool, isn't it? Lainey was cool to me because she had, like, this big camper. And it was, like, I just thought it was so cool. It was a simpler time. She had, like, a little area where she could sleep and shower, and it came with, like, a little raccoon and a trash can. It was crazy to me. I loved it. I never got it because it was $250 and could only fit, like, 2 dolls at a time if you really tried. But, like, okay, maybe she, like, creeps up to, like, well, I'm moving everyone up to, like, compensate for their placements on the list. I mean, Luciana, she just kind of has to be cool. She has a space suit. It doesn't matter how boring her story is after that. She's planning a mission to Mars. That's as cool as you can get. Beyond, like, the Irish potato famine. But it's not like there's a doll who's, like, an Irish immigrant who has to deal with... I'm just kidding. There's no, like, famine dolls in here, but, like... Oh, boy. Oh, this is also part of the new contemporary girls line where they're doing the history thing. Personally, I'm going to just rank her higher because she has a different face mold. Like, that's a big thing. They've been using the same face mold for all their black dolls since Addie. They only changed it up, like, a few times after that. They have, like, a create your own doll session on the website. Does that count? Maybe after we do the tier list, we'll check that one out if you guys still feel like it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's novel when they come out with a new face mold because, like, they get, like, 6, like, white girl face molds. And then you get, like, one for the Asian doll eyes specifically, one for Hispanic, and, like, one for black. And then that's it until they, like, have to make another character. Okay, Marisol Luna, get this. Dancer. But this time, she's the first dancer. She was the very first dancer, and that means that she got the coolest dance set. I know that I ranked all the other dancers shittily. This time I'm proving why she deserves this. Look at all this. I think her whole thing was that she had to choose between genre of like ballet and tap. And that was her whole struggle. But also look at this. This was before they were doing any of the big play sets. And it's cool. And also, I think she was, like, the first non-white Girl of the Year. She came out in 2004, it just came out in 2006, 2005. Like, that was a big deal. I'm gonna put her, like, up here just for that. She gets precedence because they keep trying to do the dance mold, but they're never gonna be Marisol Luna! Okay, this is the newest one. I know, like, the only thing I know about her is that she's Indian. I'm sorry, I failed you all. I didn't think I'd be quizzed on this. I just wanted to talk about the lore. Like, the novelty with her is that she's Indian from New Jersey, named Kavi. Yeah, you didn't think it could get worse, huh? I'm sorry. Oh man, leak for next year, crazy. We're not going to address this. No. Again, diversity measure, but I appreciate it, but I don't know, she's not for me. I'm gonna put her in creeping towards meh, but like bump her up because again, spacesuit. Right, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen's the one who's like the whole novelty with her is that like, golly, having 11 siblings sure is tough. And also at the same time, she is suffering from a childhood with polio. But she's really focused on like trying to stand out from her 11 siblings more than anything in the world. So that's all she kind of has going on. They just do the typical 1950s stuff with her where, like, again, they aren't this is past the era of historical accuracy at this point, so it's like you can throw her into a poodle skirt. But, like, no one cares, you know? I mean, this is just the same dress, but in different colors. Like, yeah, the collars are a bit different, but if I didn't specify that, would you know the difference? I don't know. I just think she's, like, a little lame. I didn't even find out that she had, like, polio from, like, anything from the main series. I found out from a blog that ranked which American Girl doll historical characters were the most to the least gay. For the record, Kit was number 1, because come on. Come on. I can get into it later. But, like, I don't know. I feel like she has, like, a potential for, like, a really interesting angle, but she is just not prioritized. Okay, I gotta be honest, McKenna, I just hate her face. I just don't like the bangs look. She needs bangs. No one should show so much forehead. They really pushed her hard because her whole thing was that she was a gymnast, and she got, like, 2 big things. She got, like, a cool balance beam, so that way you could, like, not make her do any flips or anything, but, like, she could, you could make it look like she could. And a bunk bed. Half of the girl's big products is just, like, getting a bed. I don't know. After going through, like, the highs of Lainey and Kanani back to back, McKenna, it's nothing to me. Melody is a year after, she's 1960, where Mary Ellen's 1950, but they came out surprisingly close together. And, like, to be honest, completely different energy from McKenna. I love her. I think she's, like, really sweet. I don't care about her character at all. Her whole thing is that she sings. And they've never done a historical fashion for her in her life. The closest thing you got is, like, equal rights, which, like, is cool. But, like, this is the closest you get to historical fashion whatsoever, and it looks like she came out of Little Shop of Horrors, and that's it. But you know what? I support her in all her endeavors. She is the opposite of McKenna to me. Kit's going higher. I like Kit. Kit's my bestie. Oh, by the way, someone asked me earlier, like, which doll I think would actually I'd be friends with. And I have to say Kit, just because her whole thing in the books is that she likes writing. And I like writing too. Yippee. Maybe we'd have something in common. Who knows? Oh, interesting thing with Mia. This is Mia St. Clair. She's from the year 2008. This is when they began doing big sets. Like, they didn't do big sets before. But she had, like, a little bedroom set that could turn into, like, an ice skating rink, so that at least you got utility out of it. Interestingly enough, she was planned to be, like, the first black American Girl doll. That was, like, for, like, the Girl of the Year. But the thing is that she was also planned to be impoverished. So they decided not to make their first black girl poor. For the optics of it all. I don't know, this could be like another case of bias coming in, but like, I like her. Like, I don't really know enough about her story to tell you anything more than that. Because, like, you know, lore. I don't have all the lore, but God, I have a lot of it. So I'm going to put her in not the best, but not bad. I'm going to rank Ivy and Lindsay higher, though, than Caroline. I can't believe I told you that Caroline had a boat, but I never even showed you Caroline boat. Yeah, get a fucking schooner. Hey, parents, buy your 8-year-old kid, a boat for their 18-inch doll. Yeah, this isn't just like a Barbie doll size thing. This is 18 inches. This is at least 3 feet. I can't believe I haven't gotten to Sage yet. Just wait till Sage. It gets me even more absurd with Sage. Like, yeah, it's a good boat. It's called the Miss Caroline. I've heard it's actually really good quality, but, like, how can you justify getting a whole boat is the thing. That wasn't even the end of it. She had, like, a whole parlor and everything. So, like, actually it was really good for set dressing. I actually kind of like that. Actually, I've changed and matured. Caroline is actually kind of has a pretty fire set, but I cannot abide by how ugly some of her outfits are. Like, look at this fucking thing. This is Barbie Milkmaid. The audacity. Molly. I talked a lot about Molly. She was actually my first doll. It's ugly, right? Like, her new meat outfit is so fucking ugly. Like, this is how she used to look. It's cute. And I wasn't kidding about Barbie Milkmaid outfit. But, like, the new Molly outfit just sucks. It's just kind of, like, look at this. I'm trying to find something more. Like, but, like, you see it. It's just so ugly to me. Oh god, I can't believe I forgot to mention, Julie had a car. Like, the whole novelty was just that you could, like, wash a car for a car wash, but it was also just, like, a full-size car that you could have for your doll. And, like, all these girls are supposed to be 8. You are not supposed to be able to, like, have these dolls drive at all, but, like, I mean, that just means that less stop-motion animators have to use cardboard boxes when they could buy an actual fucking car. Crazy. I don't know, like I said, story-wise, Molly's whole thing was just kind of, oh gosh, my friends are gonna lose that tug of war. My brother sabotaged my Halloween candy. Or like, I don't know, it was all boring shit. Like, for being like, the thing is that, like, Kirsten, Molly, and Felicity were part of, like, the OG3 for, like, Pioneer, Revolutionary War, World War II was, like, the 3 that were sold at first. And, like, compared to the intensity of, like, Kirsten, she just looks so tame. It's so boring. I'm sorry. We were besties at one time, but, like, you were really boring. I think that's why they replaced her. Like, they didn't, like, replace. They more just, like, did a soft reboot of, like, Molly's whole era with a girl named Nadia Mitchell with a whole new face mold, so you know that's exciting. But her whole thing is that she lived in the same era of 1944 as Molly, but she lived in Hawaii. That's right, Pearl Harbor. I think that's what they're going for, at least. I don't know. All I know is that I think they made her Hawaiian because in the original American Girl books for Molly, they had her wear a hula outfit for Halloween. This is the book that I got for her, and it's kind of like, I don't think that, like, aged as tastefully as they might have hoped. So maybe that's why they changed it. And gave focus to her. I don't know enough about her to, like, say anything. But, like, you know, she can't be, like, that bad, right? Alright, I wanted to rank Lindsay up. Josephina has to rank up higher, too. She's got stuff going on, come on. Oh, boy. Nellie. I think it would be faster if I ranked her with, like, Samantha. Samantha was Victoria, and her whole thing is that she lived in a very rich family, but Samantha's whole thing was, like, championing, like, the rights of the poor because she made friends with Nellie, who was a poor. Like, they do not, like, fight back the like, this is how she's introduced. They just kind of, like, show her, like, working the spindle. They talk about the fact that a girl's hair got stuck in there and yanked out, which is kind of intense, not gonna lie. She began teaching her how to read. She did, like, a whole speech about, like, hey, I can't believe my best friend doesn't have the same rights as me due to, like, child labor laws. Oh, yeah. And this is the illustration where she tells Samantha that she's gonna have to go on the orphan train. I think based on the I don't remember entirely, but based on the context of the story, Nellie was, like hiding her 2 sisters from her evil uncle Mike or something, who was wretchedly abusive and didn't pay bills, so they would still freeze to death regardless. But this is from when she's at an orphanage, and the orphan train was, like, this thing that children used to go on to, like, be driven across the United States for people who might want children, or conversely, workers to work on the farms. And the stakes of this is that if she gets on the train, she'll, like, never see Samantha again. And also kind of lose everything that she could have ever known. Like, that's Samantha, like, yeah, that's, like, Nellie's whole deal. Samantha has, like, the whole dead parent thing, but she's, like, you know, she's living it up. I kind of have a fondness for Samantha because, like, her whole thing is that she, like, was at that, like, awkward age for, like, when the company began. So you have, like, these outfits that are more historically accurate at times than, like, actually historically accurate. So, like, if you get some of, like, the retired outfits, it's, like, some of them are just real fucking ugly. Like this one. I've heard, like, they've done, like, a lot of critiques about the fact that, like, a lot of her clothes would not be as pink as they make them, but she's the pretty one. She's the pretty one that everybody likes. She's the rich one, so you can do more with her. That sort of thing. That sort of thing. So I guess she's just kind of meh. She's got stuff. And anyway, I think Nellie's gonna rank in the high I love you because she got enough stuff going on. And the same, like, she's got so much. She's an orphan and poor and trying to take care of 2 baby sisters. And also she watched somebody lose their fingers. Like, come on. Nikki trains therapy animals in 2006. She's on a ranch. She got a horse. That's it. Rebecca is a 1914 Russian Jewish immigrant. She's into acting. Like, I don't know illustrations. She came, like, close enough to that Be Forever era where she, like, still got, like, an actual line, but also got that, like, I don't know, she just kind of lived in New York. I think at one point she had to, like, save the day. And I don't know what they mean by saves the day because it just kind of has her climbing a ladder up to nowhere. So I don't know. I think there's just, like, not going. I'm sorry. I just, like, I don't know. It came out like that era where they stopped doing, like, interesting things with the historical characters. Like, this was the first one they debuted after, like, Kaya in 2002 after, like, 12 years, you know? Like, they had clearly done some development there. You know? Ruthie, Kit's rich best friend. Her father owns the bank that owns Kit's house. And she has to figure out what it's like to be privileged in the 1930s where everybody else is kind of suffering. And Kit has her pride, so she kind of resents, Ruthie for, like, you know, trying to give her handouts because she has that pick it up by the bootstraps American spirit to her. I don't know, she doesn't add a lot, but she doesn't detract a lot. I'm only gonna put her towards creeping towards men instead of wherever I stashed Emily on the list. Because she kind of reminds me of my grandmother. Yippee! Oh, we're gonna, like... Okay, Sage Pipes, her whole thing was that she's an artist. She likes horses. I think she was like 2014. I'm sorry, this has been a long list. There's been so many. But like, horse girl. But like, the big thing with her is that she got a fucking hot air balloon. Like, that's so useless. And it's big. Like, I have no idea how tall this child is, but that's absurd. Who needs this in their house? It's cool as hell. But like, who is getting this? Who is this for? Like, this is nothing, man. It's funny. Her whole thing is about funding the art programs, and she's going above Jess, but below Luciana because she has hot air balloon. But okay, is hot air balloon cooler than space station? Yes or no? Hurry. Hurry, because we only have one left. Wow. Divided. Divided. Hot air balloon cooler, yes or no? Okay. And then Sonali. Krissa, in case you forgot who Krissa was during this hour, this is Krissa right here. Oh fuck. She's in there. Krissa and Gwen. Sonali's fun dynamic with everybody is that she's a bully. She's one of the bullies. She gets better, but she's still a bully. Like, that's her whole deal. She's kind of mean. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. My ad block is not working. It's blocking like 160, like a bunch of ads already. Like, she gets the redemption arc, which is why she's included with the brand, but like, what else do you say? You know? This was when they began doing like tie-in movies, which was like a big deal. But more importantly, Krissa didn't have like a big set. Krissa had like a llama. She just... There's the llama. Yep. A llama. Anyway, yippee! That was the tier list. This took longer than playing Kirsten's Honeybees. What now? Do I just end the stream? It's been like almost 2 hours. Yippee! I think there was one where you got to rank American Girl beds because apparently that's contentious. I also had like Monster High characters, but there's like 170 of these. If I have strong enough opinions on all of these, we could be here all night. They put Spectra in here twice. That's how you know I'm a real super fan. That's how you know what I'm capable of. I mean, I guess this is still gonna be up Or I guess I could, like, read fan fiction. Would that be good for, like, a tomorrow stream? Like, sequel stream for tomorrow? Just reading American Girl fan fiction? I mean, why not? We could get silly with it. I already do audio content anyways. It arguably makes more sense than doing a tier list. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You don't want to have fun? You're too cool? Is there even any American Girl fan fiction? Who knows? We'll find out together. But we're going to find out tomorrow. I mean, yeah, let's see what happens. Maybe I'll get fruity. I mean, come on. We already have, like, the roommates. And I mean, like, best friend dolls were literally just made for lesbianism. Except for Samantha and Nellie, because at the end of the series, Nellie is adopted by Samantha's aunt, so I guess they're technically related. And we're not gonna run with that one. Gotta be real, guys. But anyway, happy ending for Nellie. That's important. That's what's important. And Molly hates Emily's ass. Actually, are they even friends? Why didn't, like, Speaking Rain just get a doll? But do you not think it's cool to have, like, a blind doll? Isn't that good representation for somebody? Somebody probably needs it. Anyway, thank you for listening to me talk about doll lore. I know so much about it. That's how I keep you guys interested. Anyway, signing off. Have a nice night. Get some rest. Stream tomorrow, I guess. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it zesty. There was a single game.